our channel. We're gonna fix this lawnmower. So don't put your hand in here. So this one will get hot. It's your turn.
Thank you, son. Hi everyone, welcome back to a small engine repair tutorial. Today we have this lawnmower to fix, and it's a Briggs Stratton 500E Series engine, and it's not working. So today we're going to show you how to
we got this one.
To work it out, how to fix this unit.
Daddy,
and also the throttle cable is broken, and
this.
I'll show you how to replace or fix the throttle cable. So it's likely that might be the carburetor problem. So we have this brand new type carburetor. Yeah, we might replace the carburetor, but there's no point to replace the carburetor to show you how to fix the lawnmower. So the best thing is to fix the carburetor. Is to fix the carburetor, and there's also other things that I'm going to show you. Might be that throttle control there is hitting that cover. So let's get started. Okay, this machine has a fair bit of compression. So before we decide that the problem is the carburetor, we need to check whether the oil is has been maintained, and also we need to check whether there's a spark. And we have a new carburetor here, and also we have a new spark plug. So before we proceed on fixing the carburetor, we need to check for the oil level. So for checking the oil, so we need to make sure that this the oil is just right on the maximum. There's a gauge here. This is the upper hole. So the oil is not too dark, and also the oil level is pretty much on the maximum. So I guess that this has been well maintained machine, but currently it's not running, it's not working. So the next thing we do is to check for the spark. We have to check for the ignition coil first. So to check the ignition coil, we have this multimeter here. We set it to ohms. So we're looking for the resistance reading on the ignition coil between the chassis of the engine. Just one of the, either way, one of the lead, multimeter lead. Just let's get into that. Maybe the best one position is the muffler cover. Okay, so just to make sure that there is a continuity between the chassis, we just test to any of the body, either body of the spark plug, to see if we get some zero reading continuity. Let's make sure that we have a very good continuity before we proceed on testing the ignition coil. Okay, we have the zero continuity here. So to test the ignition coil is from the chassis to where the ignition lead is. So just connect into the ignition lead, and we expect to have roughly from 2 kilo ohms to 10 kilo ohms. So we have here is 6.56 kilo ohms. Just trying to wiggle the lead if there's no dry contact. And also the one thing we can check from here. So we'll try to remove the cover. so we have a better access to the ignition coil. Okay, so we have a better access to the ignition coil. So currently we have this okay, so we'll try to test from the stop control for the ignition coil. This a lead here. This lead connecting to this one goes to the stop button. When you stop the full, push the throttle, it will engage the contact here at the back. So we can also test this one between this ignition, this control contact here to the chassis. We should get roughly 0 ohm. Yeah, this is one thing that we cannot really. This is outside of the capacity of the multimeter to test with this tiny coil. Between this point here, with the control stop control to the chassis of the engine, is a very small coil, which is roughly in millihenry. So with the ordinary multimeter, you can't really test it. So I have the inductance meter, which can measure in millihenry, which I will demonstrate this one on my other video, just to test the ignition coil, a couple of different faulty and working ignition coil. So to show you what is the limitation with using a multimeter to test ignition coil. So you can also test from the control to the high voltage lead of the ignition, and roughly you'll get the same reading as what you measured between the chassis to the high voltage lead. So roughly you should get 6.5. So yeah, we get 6.5 kilo ohms. So that's fine. The only thing that we can't really measure is between the control to the chassis, which we will assume that there's this ignition coil is good. The only problem with this control coil, which is in millihenry, when it's shorted, it appears that all the measurements of the ignition using a multimeter, it looks fine, but obviously it's like opposition of the engine, and you won't get the ignition. You can get the spark working. So assuming that this one's good, and the other thing that we can test this one is the spark. So we will do the spark test later. So second thing is we have to check the spark plug. We'll remove the spark plug. Anyway, this engine is a Briggs Stratton 500E Series, 140cc. So the spark plug number, we have this RC12YC. So R, when you can see R, that means this spark plug has internal resistance. So you won't get a 0 ohm reading between this contact to the electrode. So if you measure between the contact to the electrode, you should expect roughly in kilo ohms, or more than a kilo ohm. So we get 11.35 kilo ohms, which is good. So definitely we need to clean the spark plug. So also one thing is this point here. So normally when you look on the newest spark plug, when you compare with the newest spark plug, it's like a Teflon or ceramic type insulator between the electrode and the body, which is fully insulated or high resistance. But when you have this carbonized spark plug, when you measure between the body into that insulator, you'll be surprised that you're getting something in mega ohm, some reading, some resistance reading. So sometimes this will reduce the quality of the spark when instead of having a spark between this contact and the electrode, the spark will dissipate so that insulation, the insulator or the ceramic insulator to the body. So the rest of the spark will dissipate and you have less spark to the ignition. So maybe we can we'll see after we try to clean this one. I'll see if there's any difference on the reading, resistance reading on the insulator, and we'll check it again and see that insulator there. And we have so when this one's heating up or carbonized, you get more resistance reading. It's 11 meg. So with this new spark plug, and you touch into the insulator, it's no reading at all. So it's fully insulated. And when you measure from this point to the electrode, you should roughly get the same kilo ohm in kilo ohm range reading. It's 35. This one's reading at 35 kilo ohms. So whereas the old one, this is the used one, the 10.58 kilo ohms. So first is we need to clean this one with the carburetor. Okay, we'll test the resistance of the spark plug. So between the body and the insulator, so okay, there's no more resistance reading. It's now fully open, and pretty much we have removed the carbon deposit on the insulator on the ceramic. So, and between the tip and the electrode, you should get the same reading, 10.59 kilo ohms. So we can still use this spark plug, and there's no need to replace this with the new one. But if you want to replace with the new one, you're free to change it. It's not that expensive. Okay, to test for ignition, we should have the spark plug removed so we can see the spark on the cap. So, and the throttle cable also is not working properly, so it's likely that this is on the off position. We will move this one when we when we see if there's no spark. Okay, so to test for spark, just plug the spark plug into the high voltage cable, ignition high voltage ignition cable, and ground the body into the chassis or the metallic part of the engine, and observe for spark while you pull the ignition. So that's definitely, there's a spark. You can see that. Okay, so we will set this one to start position and we'll try to prime. Okay, it starts, but it stops. So that's definitely the problem, is the carburetor. So it's confirmed that we need to fix the carburetor or replace or rebuild the carburetor. And that noise is because of the blade is a little bit loose. So now we'll have to rebuild the carburetor. So this is the problem with the throttle cable. You can see that it's coming off already, so it's damaged from inside. So we'll have to remove this one. You also need to remove this one here. Okay, we'll have a look at what's wrong with the throttle control. Let's open this one. Oh, okay. So currently it's this bit here has come off, and also the washer is broken. There's two washer here, so it would be difficult to crimp this one back. So the best thing we can do is to take this one out. The best thing is we can do is we have to use maybe a throttle cable from a Vtech Lawnmower, which I have one in here. So I have a replacement throttle cable of Vtech Lawnmower, so we can use this one. Okay, so we have to open this one as well. We have a look at the so that's the inside. So this is where the other bit it's coming off. So we just take this one from the hook there. First is we need to make sure that the two cables is on the same length. So they're not on the same length. So what we can do is to cut the cable. So either cut it here or we offset by 1 inch. So we cut from here. Okay, so roughly we need to cut by 9 centimeter. So when you cut it, we don't want to cut the wire inside wire. So we just either have to take this one all the way, or just pull a little bit so we can. So I'm using the angle grinder to cut it. So make sure that you're away from any petrol. Spark and petrol doesn't mix together. Have to be careful with that, otherwise you make a fire or explosion. So make sure that the spark is away from any petrol or lake petrol. So 9. Okay. So you have your cable. So for the cable, this is a bit too long. So let's measure it again. So we'll measure from this tip here to the tip. So we will have to cut this one. So the same thing, I'm using angle grinder to cut it. You can use a Dremel, you can use a cutter to cut the cable, but you have to be, when using an angle grinder or a Dremel, you have to make sure that there's no petrol close to you. So okay, so first is we have to put this one back. Have to go from underneath. Then this one here. Then the cover by the side. Okay. And we'll try to test it if. Okay. So we will use a bender to create S-bend. So to create this one, we have this special tool to create an S-bend, or sometimes they call it Z-bend. Okay, to make the Z-bend or S-bend, you have to make sure that this is positioned upright. and make sure where you going to bend the cable. Okay, first is you have to insert this. You see that tiny hole there? Insert this one, and you have to bend that way. Okay, you have the first bend, so you have to insert the first bend right there and into the hook, and you have to, maybe it's best to hold this one from here and bend like this. That's not enough yet. Okay, just right there. Okay, we'll insert the new throttle replacement throttle cable. Okay, we will tie that one later, but first, as we need to mount the control. Okay, so we need to mount the control. The washer, then the bolt for the nut. Okay, then we adjust the control. So off position. So that's a full run position, and it's off. It's all good. Okay, now we have to remove the carburetor. First is we have to take the caliper, the air filter cover, air filter, There's 3 screws that mounts the air filter base. The 2 screws are smaller in size. So we're using the M7 to remove the other 2 screws. This is not the type of carburetor that the throttle cable here will hit onto that metal body. That's a different type of carburetor, that one with a spring. Still have one more on the side. So previously we used this M8. And taking off this carburetor, we still have a little bit of fuel inside. So what do you reckon is the best thing to take the carburetor and prevent the fuel from overflowing? So either way, we have to compress this one, raise the fuel, or maybe just take the fuel tank. Maybe if you have a better idea, let me know. Just leave a comment. Maybe it's best to drain this fuel before taking off, or we can just I think that the fuel tank is now on the lower position, so we have this advantage to take this the clamp. It's leaking a little bit. So we have this fuel hose here. Take it out. I should use the bigger plier for this one instead of a long nose. Okay, so we just bring this one lower so it doesn't. I need to take that. Okay, so we have this carburetor here. To take the carburetor out, we need to either take this linkage or just pull the carburetor off. We should be able to pull this one off and take it off from the. We still have a little bit of fuel there, the linkage. And we have this o-ring. Make sure that you don't lose that o-ring, and also that plastic retaining clip. So okay, we have a look on how we will rebuild this carburetor. Okay, to install the carburetor, just put a little bit of lubricant on the o-ring here. Just connect the linkage and just line it up with the manifold. Just push it in. Okay, that's pretty much in. The next thing is we have to install the fuel tank. Okay. Okay, the next part is I have to install the air filter base. Then the air filter and the air filter cover and the cowl. Hi everyone, thanks for watching and I hope you enjoy and come in, son.
Hi everyone, there is our channel. Subscribe to our channel there and click the bell over there and follow the case in there.
Okay, thanks for watching. Thank you, son. And thanks for watching. I hope you
And
enjoy.
don't forget to subscribe there.
Yes. And I hope you enjoy watching our videos and you found it useful. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more upcoming videos. And thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.